When you list a property, you enter into an employment agreement with the home's owner. Understanding how to describe all the different characteristics of that listing agreement are important. You're going to need to be able to answer the questions for that seller where they're comfortable and they understand what it is exactly you're doing for them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the provisions of a listing agreement, as this agent explains it really pretty well to a quite an eager seller.
Now, for me to become your agent and represent you, we need to sign a listing agreement. It's an employment contract whereby you would appoint me to be your agent to find a buyer who is ready, willing, and able to buy according to the terms of the contract.
So basically, a listing agreement is when I agree to have you, the agent, list my house for sale. Is that what they mean when they have so-and-so list their house?
Yes, that's right. This is a fiduciary agreement appointing me as your agent. Okay, let's discuss some of the key elements of the listing agreement. First, look at the parties to the agreement. You, the seller, are the principal who employs the agent. My brokerage firm would be the agent who is employed to represent you. The listing should be in writing, of course, and include the list price and the financing terms you'd accept.
Financing terms? What are those?
It's how the buyer would finance the purchase of your home, such as with a conventional loan, insured conventional loan, FHA loan program, VA loan program, contract for deed, and so on. We would need to list out the financing terms you would accept from the buyer. Next is the method of compensation and the amount of compensation the listing agent or brokerage would receive. In other words, this section covers the agent's commission. First and foremost, all commissions are set by negotiation. Commissions are always negotiable and can be a flat fee or a percentage of the sales price. Then we need to fill in a beginning date for the agreement and an end date. This agreement will end or expire on the expiration date. On that expiration date, I would no longer be your agent. The agreement would not automatically renew. There is no automatic renewal clause on a listing. However, let's say the listing agreement expires while you are under contract with a buyer. We have a valid purchase agreement on your home, we're heading to closing, and boom, the listing expires. I still have an obligation to close the transaction. We will be there to make sure your property closes.
Well, that's a relief.
Let's keep going. Notice the multiple listing clause. This clause allows me to list your property on the MLS where other brokerages can see it and show it to their buyers. This clause also allows me to split my fee with other brokers. So if I list your home and another brokerage brings a ready, willing, and able buyer, I would split my commission with that brokerage. Is that something you'd be okay with?
Of course, I'm up for anything that'll help sell my house.
Okay, it's time to get serious. The next clause protects the agent, which is why we call it the broker protection clause. My brokerage is entitled to a commission if a prospect buys your home after our listing agreement expires.
So wait a minute. If you don't sell my house, our contract is done, and you're done working for me, someone else comes along and buys my house, I still owe you a commission? That doesn't make any sense.
Hold on, let me explain. Let's say I have your house on the market for a few months, and I've had open houses and multiple showings and lots of responses to my advertising. And let's say one of those people who knows all about your home because of my efforts calls you up directly. That buyer says to you, let's wait until your listing expires, and then I'll buy your house full price minus the commission. Doesn't seem fair to me, does it?
No, I guess you're right, it doesn't.
What the broker protection clause is saying is that I am entitled to a commission if a buyer I procure buys your home after the listing expires. Mind you, I'll have to give you a list of those procured or protected buyers. However, let's say our listing contract expires and you list with another agent, and that buyer I procured finally makes an offer and you sell your home. Do you owe me a commission then?
Do I? Wait, do I have to pay you and my new agent?
No, the broker protection clause will terminate if you list with another brokerage.
Well, that's a relief. What else do I need to know?
Well, last but not least, you and I would sign the listing agreement. Now let me ask you something. Are you the only property owner?
I'm not married or anything. I bought this house on my own.
Good. For the sale of the property to be valid, all property owners have to sign the listing agreement. And what you're saying is that the only property owner is you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Great. Do you have any questions for me about this listing agreement?
No, I don't think so. Let's get this contract filled out and get my house on the market.
Listings are a very important part of the real estate business, and working with a client so that they understand all the provisions of that listing agreement, very important. It's a contract, it's binding, you have to perform, they have to perform, and just the 4 key points you got to get out of that video is commissions. In your listing agreement, it's got to describe that commissions are negotiable, right? So that you and the seller can negotiate that commission. Auto-renewing clause. You can't have a listing automatically renew. It's not allowed. You have to renegotiate a new listing agreement. Broker protection clause. Now this is good for you. This is good for you to make sure that you show a bunch of people this property while it's listed, and the day that it expires, the seller sells it to somebody you had just shown the home to. Could that be a problem? Well, what the broker protection clause allows for is you to turn in a list of all your buyers, and then the seller is still responsible to pay you a commission if somebody on that list buys within the length of time that the list covers. So it protects you to make sure there's no shenanigans going on between a seller and a potential buyer, especially if you were the one that brought that buyer to the property. Remember this though, that broker protection clause goes away as soon as that property is relisted with somebody else. So if that seller signs a new listing with a new brokerage, your broker protection clause goes away instantly. They don't owe you anything. And then finally, another key point here, all owners must sign the listing. So if it's a husband and wife, they both have to sign. It can't just be one. So make sure you ask the question and you get all owners to sign the listing. Listing, it's where the real money is in the long run. Make sure you do it right and make sure you can describe it to your clients.